Hello everyone, it's Tilly from Tilly Journals and I am back with day 16 of VADA and the third episode in this series of handwriting, hand lettering videos. And today we're going to be looking at bubble cursive. I'll show you an example of what this looks like in a moment. And this will be more a sort of words video than anything else. So for this you actually need a pencil, a rubber and the pen you want your bubble writing in. I'm going to use two different coloured pens and not rub anything out just to show you for ease, but maybe at the end I'll do like one word to show you what it looks like. Maybe I should do that first actually. Let me grab a pencil. Sorry, that took way too long. So this is a 4B pencil. So I'm just going to write the word bubble again. And you'll notice I'm doing it exactly the way we talked about for cursive last week. But actually that's not that important for this. And then you get your pen or whatever you want to do the hand lettering in and essentially trace around each of these letters. So normally bigger works best in this and I'm a little bit worried this is going to be too small, but we'll see. So you essentially just trace around each letter as if you were drawing sort of an offset of it. So once you've got halfway around, you just need to do the same at the other side, trying to keep a nice even distance between the pencil line and the line you're drawing in. Because I've done this a little bit too small, it's not always possible. And then once you've done all of the outer line, you basically go around the inner circles and do exactly the same thing. Like that. Then you wait for it to dry and rub it out. I'll rub it out in a minute or two. But yeah, so the main thing about this lettering style is that you need to do big, widely spaced letters. You'll see part of this is the circles are a little bit small, partly because I'm using a thick pen just to make it easier. But yeah, you need to draw right big. So let's take the months of the year. So start with January. And I'm just going to write January nice and big. There we go. Nice and big written January. You'll notice I spread out the letters quite a lot and I've written nice and big. You can do this smaller with smaller pens and things, but for the purposes of this video we're going big or going home. So then you essentially have to imagine that there are two lines running at either side of the letter and you just want to follow them, and it's dead simple to do. So can you see how I'm trying to keep an equal space between the green and the purple lines there? All the way through. And there's places where I'll go a little bit closer, but I'll try and then even it back out. And the reason this is so important is to make it look like it makes sense at the end of it. Because if I didn't, when I come around to the other end of this N, or the other part of this U, it won't line up, or this R, it won't line up and it'll look funny. Whereas if you try and stay nice and even throughout, it just works better, basically. Now, see, that was not a very good example because I was being distracted by the fact that because I'm on Rhodia paper and using this pen, it will smear if I go put my hand over it, because Rhodia paper is really smooth, which means it's not particularly fast drying for pens, but nothing bleeds on it and it's really nice to write on. So I need to not go put my hand straight over the line, so that's why I've gone back to the beginning of the letter to carry on. So if you see on this R, what I've done is imagined this line was continuing the same this way. So just added an extra little bit there to make that work. There you go. So once you've then done all of the outline, I need to add my I dot. You do the inside of your letters. And again, try and stay equidistant as you have been all of the time. And again, with things like the R, try and carry on your lines so that it looks better, because it will. It'll just look more uniform, more like it was meant to be like that. If you imagine, so if you imagine this line coming down here and this line coming across here, and that tells you where to start with the inner loop of your Y. Does that make sense? I hope so, because I don't know how else to describe it. So yeah, that is all really there is to this form of handwriting, hand lettering. It's a really nice way to turn your cursive into something that looks far more special. Not that cursive doesn't already look pretty amazing. And with time, you can sort of do certain letters without it. But it's just not as neat if you don't have the pencil lining in. So yeah, look how cool that bubble looks now. It would look cooler if I'd done it bigger and there was more space, but it looks quite cool anyway. Bubble's not a very nice word either. So if I try to do February without, I still need it written somewhere in pencil. But it's really hard to do without that initial. February is a really long word. I might do May. It's really hard to do without having it written somewhere, or even having it anywhere else. So if you watch me attempt to do this, you'll see why I'll tell you to carry on. Because it just won't be anywhere near as neat as it would otherwise be. And see, I've gone sort of wrong because there's no tail of my Y. But to be fair, it's not too bad. But it's not as neat as it would otherwise be if, let's show you with a pencil again, because it's quite nice to be able to see what it looks like. And the good thing about this 4B pencil is it actually rubs out really well. On any paper, because it's a nice dark line, but it rubs out really well. Do you see what I mean? It just looks better. I mean, I've rushed it a little bit to try and show you for this video, and I'm probably rubbing this out while the pen's still wet, which is probably not a good plan. But it just looks way neater. And I mean, you can do this with your normal print and things, which also looks cool, and you can have a mess about. The other thing I like to do with this is do sort of a fake calligraphy look with it as well. So if we take April, because it is April, and we write that nice and big, and then we fake calligraphy it, so basically on your downstrokes make it really fat. The only one I don't do it for is this P downstroke. I think it sometimes looks funny if you thicken it, but maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be fine. And you'll notice I'm just changing things a little bit to make them a little bit more even as I do the false calligraphy, faux calligraphy type thing. So like making my loops bigger and stuff like that. So there you go. So you make like the false calligraphy, and then you grab your outline pen, the colour you want your writing to be in, and again just follow the lines. And what's really important in this is to again stay nice and equidistant from your pencil line, because it will become really important on your downstrokes, especially when you're doing this a little bit smaller. Obviously I'm doing this really big so you can see what I'm doing while on the video, but obviously in your planner or bullet journal or however, wherever you're doing this writing, it will be smaller, so it's more important there to really stick to your equidistantness, because your downstrokes won't be quite as thick as they are in this. So there you have it, and then again you do the middle and just keep nice and the same distance from your pencil line. Again, I'm just saying the same advice over and over again, because it really is the most important part of this style of hand lettering. So then you just wait for it to dry and rub out. And that really is one of my favourite fonts to do, pretty much anywhere. So yeah, that is basically all of this video. You can play with this with your print as well, so in the same way, if you did, imagine that was neater. And then again, just trace, keeping an equidistance from the pencil line. Just like that. So yeah, you can just have a play tracing letters essentially. So yeah, that is all I have for you today and in this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. I really want to see some of your creations using these different fonts I'm showing you, or even just your practice. So tag me in Instagram stories, whatever you like, and show me what you're practicing and what you're doing and how you're doing these videos, following these videos. Comment down below if you are following them and if what you'd like to see handwriting wise coming from me or hand lettering wise, and I hope to see you next time. See you tomorrow for another video every day in August. Hey, August? April. It's definitely April. Trying to skip 4 months of the year apparently. Bye!